website devoted to a folk music ensemble made up of forest rangers. They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters. I'll put their music on my iPod, but I'm not paying for their website.
Obama even appointed his own Doge czar.
Starting today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government.
Yeah.
We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste.
In his own bank
Joe's
account.
The right man to lead it.
Yeah,
There's no business with Joe.
We're not just eliminating fraud and waste. We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue.
Right.
Our way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands.
I'll read one to you. This is a High Court opinion upholding such laws in existence in another country. And I quote, "We have seen more than once that the public welfare may call upon the best citizens for their lives. It would be strange, indeed, if it could not call upon those who already sap the strength of the state for these lesser sacrifices in order to prevent our being swamped by incompetence. It is better for all the world if, instead of waiting to execute degenerate offspring for crime or to let them starve for their imbecility, society can prevent their propagation by medical means in the first place. 3 generations of imbeciles are enough." You recognize it now, Dr. Beek?
No, sir, I don't.
Actually, there is no particular reason you should. Since the opinion opposes sterilization law in the state of Virginia of the United States and was written and delivered by that great American jurist, Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, bung-eyed heifers, right and left wing wackos, woodchucks, and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom, which is what they call this part of Vermont, to another version of It's News to Us. And who are we? Where are we? Oh, I need longer arms with this table. You are watching... There it is. It's News to Us. We're Newport's oldest TV news watchers. Neil Brown Cow. And if you're at a demonstration, peaceful or not, you see this symbol and a bunch of people dressed in black with little slits for their eyes to see, get the hell out of there. Because sooner or later, they're going to come down with the nightsticks and you'll be there instead of them. And as for me, I ask no special favors. Just treat me like an illegal alien. That's all. You don't need any papers, no COVID test, vaccines. You can hop on a plane, do it, whatever you want, man. Get a free ticket. You can fly all over the country. Sure. The taxpayer will pay for it. And this is our new, our new neighborhood watch. Not so much now. We're getting our privacy back, thank God. And I think this country is facing a new birth of freedom, believe it or not, because it's a government where, you know, Trump is not a threat to democracy, he's a threat to the bureaucracy. And Elon Musk can attest to that. And no, they're finding out more and more stuff about this vaccine every day, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to scare you. You know, if you've made it this far, taking that vaccine, then chances are you're going to be fine. I just saw the new heart problems that women are having. Didn't mention if they'd got the shot, though. It was over at UVM, this new thing. Anyways, you can see it on Channel 3, I believe. Mad all the time? Ask your doctor about anger chucks for woodchucks and chuckettes. And let's face it, the corrupt fear us, the honest supporters, and the heroic join us, man. Tax the rich and stop the wars. And we finally got a president that's doing both. No matter what the opposition says, he is not giving breaks to his billionaire friends. Unless, of course, they own factories and are bringing them back to the United States. Speaking of which, I don't know if you meant if you caught this last week, Todd, when you edited my show, but Eli Lilly has pledged to start up 4 new pharmaceutical factories in country.
Really?
Yeah, and they're going to be making APIs also. API.
What's an API?
API is damn it.
You want me to Google it?
API. It's not alternative. It's oh yeah, go ahead, Google it. I can't remember. Well, I wrote it down for last week's show. Damn it.
Is it application programming interface? Or
No,
that's computer. API, like prescription drugs?
Yeah.
I should use Grok, the new AI from Elon Musk.
Yeah.
When discussing API, it refers to active pharmaceutical ingredients.
Active. That's the one word I can't seem to stick in my brain. Active pharmaceutical ingredients. And those are the base chemicals that make all kinds of drugs. Because let's face it, we found this out during the COVID scamdemic that China was ready to shut us off. They were going to shut us off, not only for gowns and masks and gloves and all kinds of stuff, but also for antibiotics and drugs that we don't make anymore, right? So Peter Navarro, the trade czar, he got together and they were going to restart the old Eastman Kodak plant in Rochester, New York, because let's face it, that's what Kodak made. Kodak made chemicals, and all those vats and tanks and reactors, chemical reactors, they're still there. A lot of this stuff has never been scrapped, Todd. You know what I mean?
It's just been empty, right?
Pardon me?
It's just been vacant.
Yeah. And it's a shame because there is no more of a beautiful city than Rochester, New York. It has something like the highest number of parks per square mile of any city in the country. It blew me away. My wife and I stopped there on the way back from Niagara Falls, and it was just incredible. I just happened on it by accident. It was one of those things where I was in the lobby of the motel and I saw these, the flyers that the Chamber of Commerce and stuff put out. And I'm all like, oh my God, look at this, So we decided to stay another day and check out these. They had this one park we went to. It was a replica of a medieval park kind of thing that they had in Italy, with sunken gardens and terraces and fountains. It was an exact replica. It was just incredible. But anyways, what happened to that deal? Greed got in the way. Navarro and these guys were all ready to do it, and he mentions it in one of his 2 books. He got ready to do it, and the what do you call them? The executives from Kodak, they started doing insider trading with the stocks and stuff because they had they knew. Oh yeah,
I forgot to hit start.
Yeah, this is a journey.
Let's go for a ride.
Out my driveway, yeah. But they were trying to manipulate the stock price so that they could try and make a killing. And Trump came in and said, no. The whole idea is for you boneheads to restart the plant and so we can have jobs, you idiots. Oh, it's a little rough in the beginning.
I didn't actually edit it. I just made it digital.
Yeah. Oh well, it's it was kind of hard for me to hit the stop signs and look around. The snow bankings are 30 feet high. So anyways, yeah, they Eli Lilly, 4 new plants, and they're going to make APIs also. And here's the thing. We need patience, people, okay? This is not going to happen overnight. Last week, Todd was nice enough, I wish I'd had time to put it in this week. Last week show, Todd put in the end of a speech by a fictitious president from a movie called 7 Days in May from 1964. And where the president, the president, whatever, had signed a deal with the Soviet Union to get rid of nuclear missiles, and everybody, half the country thought he was crazy. Oh, you can't trust them Russians. And he said, look, and here's the thing, it's going to take a while because we are basically taking a wartime economy and putting the brakes on it, and then putting the brakes on it and going back to a peacetime economy where we're going to start making stuff here, like cars and refrigerators and dishwashers and all kinds of stuff that is currently being made in China and Mexico and other countries. And it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? It's going to be a lot faster than it would be during World War II even. But they geared up. They only took a year to gear up. But now we have computer-controlled machine tools that can, that can make stuff in a heartbeat compared to the old days. I know. I used to program them in the old days, and they were when they were just starting out. But anyways, what other news did we have that you might see, or you might have missed? There's 90,000. Speaking of muskie, I love this stuff, man. And Todd. In the booth we have Todd, the big guy.
That's me.
Yeah, he's the general manager of the studio, executive director, and you can see him all over the place. Mm-hmm. He does a Sunday morning live stream show. How do you get to that, Todd?
If you look for my name on Facebook or YouTube,
Todd Pronto.
Yeah, you'll find me right there. And it's Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. for some dumb reason. I decided to do a show when nobody else was doing one, because all the other musicians do them on Friday and Saturday nights. But now I can never sleep in on Sunday again.
And he also, you can rent Todd or his band, or Todd and the band.
Yeah.
For weddings, bar mitzvahs, screw the disc jockeys, man. Get some live music. If Todd don't remember the song, he can fake it.
Okay, well, maybe I'll try. Or I'll play another song and tell you that's the one that you wanted to hear.
Yeah, you'll like it. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. So, anyways, anyways, this muskie thing, I love it. So Trump is doing the same thing as basically this president was trying to do in 1964, is bring us back to a peacetime economy. And you know what? It's going back to these tariffs, man. Did you know why you can't? Why milk costs like $6 or $7 a gallon in Canada, Todd?
I don't know exactly, but I do know that they come to America, or at least the Canadians that are fortunate enough to live near the border, come to America to buy our milk because it's cheaper.
Yeah, they've got a 250% tariff on dairy products. I mean, this is crazy. It's just crazy, man. Here's Jay Peak, and and they're all like, sure, they take care of their farmers, and all their farmers have brand new buildings and brand new milk tanks, and they've all got crap pits so that they don't. The cows don't crap in the streams, and I noticed that they were fencing off the streams and stuff when when I first moved up here. I used to go up to Canada all the time to get, beekeeping equipment over in Freelightsburg or wherever the hell it was. It was somewhere over there. It was just north of St. Albans. But anyways, yeah, so Trump is going after this stuff, and it's all like, all right, if you want to lower your tariffs, we'll lower ours. If you don't lower your tariffs, we're going to tariff your stuff. And so they're saying the progressives or the Democrats, whatever you want to call them, the moonbats, they're saying, oh, it's a trade war. It's gonna rid inflation. No, stick with me, people. It was like this when I was a kid, okay? When I was a kid, you bought a pair of shoes. Sure, it cost you more than the shoes from Vietnam do now, or made in China or made in Vietnam or Thailand, but your neighbor had a job at the shoe factory and made a decent living, What is that worth, people? And not only that, but you could, if the shoes needed new soles, you could bring it to the cobbler or the shoe repair. We used to have a guy right up here. Remember, Todd?
Yeah, I've all through my childhood. He was there till, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something. He just retired, but...
Yeah, he was right across from the office supply place, which is gone too, thanks to Walmart.
Yeah, it's definitely gone.
Oh, yeah. We had all these Canucks up here. I want cheap underwear. I want cheap underwear. I want my Walmart. And finally, after 10 years, they got one. And it put how many places out of business? Innumerable places out of business. I almost went off the road right there.
Oops.
Yeah. That road was, I keep forgetting I don't have four-wheel drive like I used to. So anyways, Big Muskie's tearing he's got his little software kitties, and they're going through department after department. And there's like 90,000. He sent out a report saying, look, tell us what you did last week, right? How hard is that? You know what I mean? Anybody and everybody, I used to have to report, write down the time I spent on each job that I did, you know what I mean? On my time cards. So that the people in billing could, bill the right accounts. Well, so anyways, 90,000 IRS employees could not name 5 weekly tasks. And they're saying that half the staff could or should be fired. You think? It's about time, okay? And don't let them cry that there's no jobs in the private sector for them, because there are, okay? There are, and there will be even more. Let's see, where is it? I wrote it right down here, active pharmaceutical ingredients. Of course. Let's see. Yeah, 151,000 new jobs on the U.S. payroll. There are 250,000 unfilled jobs in Virginia alone, okay? And that's where most of these people that live and work in Washington, they live in Virginia. So there are 10 million unfilled jobs in the USA right now. So don't let them cry. Don't let them cry to you that that they won't find any jobs, because they're out there. Yeah, and every Alphabet News station. They said Zelensky was ambushed. I tried to get a clip of that, but it was too late, and I wasn't going to stay up late to rewatch the show. But they did a compilation on one of the Fox shows of where it's like they get their word of the day early in the morning for Morning Joe. They get the word of the day, and every NBC, ABC, CBS, every news outlet came out and said, ambush, yeah, that was an ambush at the White House Friday. Yeah, it was an ambush. They ambushed Zelensky. Yep, they ambushed him. And it's like crazy, man. It's crazy.
There was an article in Rolling Stone years ago about that. I think they were talking about Fox News at the time, but basically, it is a word of the day, or it's a catchphrase that they want every host throughout the day to repeat, whether like what you said, like ambush, like it's a advertising marketing thing, like
earworm.
Yeah, like in radio, we used to tell people that like you buy an ad, you need to run your ad like 5 or 6 times a day, because people don't start retaining the information until the 3rd or 4th time they hear the same thing, and it might be more than that.
Yeah, it's an earworm, man.
Yeah.
It's like a catchy song or advertisement. It sticks in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Playing all the hits.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing, too, is that that thing where they have where they claim that they can't find U.S. workers, skilled workers. Oh, God, what's the name of it? Oh, man.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Yeah,
it's not the thing I printed for you, is it?
It's not EB5.
No, that's here.
Yeah. Anyways, it's they want anyways they want these what do you call them? They want these slave labor people to come in here. It started it started before Bush, but G.W. Bush he started this program called OPT. Look, there's a dog in my car. How the hell did that happen? Yappy little mutt. OPT, it was called Optimal Private Training Program. Oh, it was H-1B, that's the name of it, Toddster.
Oh, okay.
H-1B visas. And where the companies didn't have to pay any Social Security on the employee. There were 85,000 plus the 20,000 that are here now. And the graduate schools got 20,000 in the graduate schools per year. And there are 1.5 million here now, excuse me. They work 30 to 50% cheaper than Native Americans or citizens. And they call the recruiters like body shops. But anyways, if you want to find out more about this stuff, I should have made up a card, but here's the website. It's called the Immigration Accountability Project, okay? And it's just cheap labor, and they detail these programs and exactly how they work and why we don't need them, because it's slave labor. That's all it is. And that's one of the things that we disagree with Herr Musk on, because let's face it, he's a businessman. If he can get cheaper labor, he will. Oh, and speaking of NBC can't do math, Todd.
No?
I was watching this thing. They had the other day was the anniversary of Sunday Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama.
Yep.
Which I saw when I was a kid. I mean, in those days, they used to have they would have like they had a cameraman filming the state police in Alabama, state troopers beating the hell out of these Negroes and rushing them back across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And they would take the film and they would either have it developed or I don't know how, but somehow they would have it distributed to their TV station, their affiliates throughout the country within a matter of hours, Toddster. So I saw it later that day that it happened. But anyways, they had this guy on there. They said he was just 7 years old when it happened, and he was 82 years old. And it's like, wait a minute, that was 1965. and it was 60 years ago. I mean, I saw it. The guy had to be born in 58. I was born in 56. So evidently NBC has their producers have a problem with mathematics, or one of them does, or arithmetic, simple arithmetic. Go figure. Yeah, it was horrible, man. They beat the hell out of these people, sick the dogs on them, and it's crazy. And let's see, 90% of the advanced microchips are made in Taiwan now. And Trump had that guy come over from Taiwan, and he committed something like, what, $1 billion or $2 billion to make the chips here?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, this is all private money, okay? And they signed it and inked it out and everything. Whereas Biden tried to have a chip plant made in Arizona with government money, and guess what? The government stipulated that if they built their chip plant, they have to have so many bisexuals, so many homosexuals, so many transsexuals, so many blacks, so many Hispanics, and it's just freaking nuts, all right? So good for Trumpster. The guy from Taiwan, they're going to bring him over here, because if they don't, Trump said he was going to tariff the crap out of them. So they got their funds together, and they're going to start making the fab plant. And I don't know what's going to happen to this chip plant over here. I'm not sure if they'll upgrade it or what, but they get to pollute for free, man. They dump all their crap and chemicals in Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
And where Burlington gets its drinking water. And I think the reason that they were going to put this fab plant in Arizona is that they can dump their treated wastewater right into the what remains of the Colorado River, and send that right down to Mexico. Have some mutant fish, tumor fish. And anyways. Oh, and now they're finding out too. They had handwriting experts look at Biden's signature. Did you hear about this one, Todd?
No.
Oh, Jesus. It looks like he didn't sign hardly anything.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, all presidents and all celebrities or whatever, they'll have an auto pen. The machines have been around since Thomas Jefferson invented the first auto pen, right?
Yeah.
And so what they do is, it's like, like when my brother got killed in Vietnam, we got a letter from President Nixon. Did Nixon sign it? No, he didn't. The machine did, right?
Right.
Well, they had handwriting experts look at all of Joe Biden's signatures, and it seems like there's a lot of signatures, Todd, that were done by auto pen. Yeah, which could make them null and void.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it could bring charges against the people who use the auto pen for pulling the wool over the old geezer's eyes.
Whoever pulled the trigger?
Yeah.
Damn.
You think? I mean, it's crazy, but it's true. And you can see that. It's called the Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation. I think it's www.heritage.com or something. Yeah, his aides would be guilty of forgery, and they call the real signatures wet signatures versus auto pen. It's unfriggin' believable, man. Oh, and the Muskie's people found out that the Small Business Administration had given $110 million to kids and the elderly in COVID cash during the paycheck, we're using the Paycheck Protection Program or something, that that they weren't eligible for. Funny that. Oh, it's only $110 million. It's just barely a drop in the bucket, said people like Bernie. It's nuts. We're finding billions and billions. This is it's gonna, and now there's a judge. They're fighting with a judge over the EPA money the Judge Tanya Chutkin. For those of you who remember the trials, the charges against Donald Trump that were all dropped because they were baloney, Judge Chutkin is an Obama appointee, I think, and she's a real wingnut. And they basically went up there and said, no, sure they gave Stacey Abrams or whatever $2 billion. It's, we can't give it back. We can't give it back, nor should we. We shouldn't have to. It was spent. It was authorized by Congress. That's what they're going to say. But the president's the executive, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court. It has to. I mean, it has to. Okay, it's got to get settled. Oh, and did you see that? See that guy who got shot to death out in L.A.?
Oh, that chose it over lethal injection in the chair, right?
No.
This is different.
Yeah, this guy got shot. He got shot to death. There were two guys cutting the catalytic converter off his neighbor's car.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, so he called his neighbor, and his neighbor comes out, and the two guys shot the guy. Now, mind you, one was the guys that were cutting off the catalytic converter were one was from Honduras, here illegally, of course. He was here illegally from Honduras. The other one was here illegally from El Salvador. And they shot a Mexican, well, he's an American, a Mexican-American citizen, a good Samaritan. They shot him to death. He has a full-time job, like two of them, I think. He's the sole breadwinner from his family. He leaves behind a wife and two kids. Yeah, good going. And who let those people in, illegal people in, Todd?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, young Biden. Young Biden let them in. And you know what? You know what the officials in California said?
No.
They said that the catalytic converters are too easy to steal. Yeah. It's like, well, they shouldn't put them right underneath the car where they're easy to steal. Well, they get up to like 1,100 degrees. Where the hell else are you going to put them, honey?
It's not like stealing a Hershey bar from a convenience store.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's one of the good or bad things about battery-operated hand tools these days. In the old days, you'd need an extension cord and a Sawzall, or a hacksaw and a good strong arm to cut through the pipes to get the converter off. But nowadays, man, you just go down to your local hardware store, steal you a battery-operated Sawzall, and break out a small hydraulic jack up the car, have your friend jack up the car, bang, you got $1,100. And I'd lay half the blame on the people, the junkyards that are buying these damn things.
Right?
Yeah, because they're full of like palladium, I think, and platinum. Yeah, they're too easy to steal. Yeah, that's it. We got to make them harder to steal, that's all. Oh, and here's a good website. It's about all the money that the Catholic charities had been getting. They've been getting tons of money through these, what do you call them? These NGOs, right? They are NGOs, the Catholic Relief Organization and stuff. And you can find out all about them at yourchildren.com. It's Y-O-R-E. That's the name of the woman who runs the website. That's her last name, Y-O-R-E, yourchildren.com. It's crazy, man. Over $5.2 billion of our tax money has gone to promote missing minors. There's something like, 300,000 missing children? And it's nuts. It's nuts. And we paid to have these Skraelings allowed into our country. Let's see, what else we got news? Oh, man. Oh, and the European Union is getting closer to stealing Russian assets to pay for Ukrainian arms shipments. That's something that it can't turn out to be any good. It's gonna get them in trouble, man. Massive fraud, man. The $2 trillion Biden budget. They're trying to claw a lot of this money back. And did you see where they grabbed that? They grabbed that friggin' Arab guy. He claims to be a Palestinian. He was here on a student visa, and he was organizing rallies for Hamas in New York City.
No.
Yeah, they grabbed him, man. They want to make an example out of him because he's like the ringleader, and he's here on a student visa. He claims to be Palestinian, I think, but yet he hails from Syria. I'm not sure. He's in a jail right now in Louisiana, but they've got him under some statute that the Secretary of State can revoke his visa, his green card and his visa, if he provides support for a terrorist organization. And the Justice Department Civil Rights Division is going after these pukes that have been blocking Jewish kids from going to class on campuses in New York and different colleges. It's crazy, man. I never thought I would live to see the day that it would be okay to harass Jews. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, when the Nazis, the Illinois Nazis, won a decision to march in Skokie, Illinois, the ACLU got them that decision. They just marched through a park. I mean, they weren't harassing Jews and blocking them from going to class and stuff. I mean, you know, what the hell? Imagine trying to do that to any other group, say blacks or Hispanics or Muslims even. It's crazy, man. But yet, a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, supposedly, is being funded by the country of Qatar and the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. Yeah, and they're pulling a lot of this grant money from these colleges, anyways, because let's face it, it's like look at Harvard. Harvard has a $50 billion endowment, okay? $50 billion of their own cash. And yet they still get government research grants and stuff. And 70% of these grants from the FDA, CDC, is spent on overhead. So Trump wants to cap the overhead at 15%. And they cut $400 million already from Colombia for allowing them to hassle the Jews. Let's see. Where is it? You can see this stuff too at openthebooks.org. There's a bunch of government accountability websites that we've been tracking over the years. And that's one of them. That's one of the good ones, openthebooks.org. Yipper. And, this bird flu thing is driving me crazy. There's a new variant. It's called the D1.1 variant. There are 40 species of bird flu, I think, or it affects 40 species, I'm not sure. But Dr. McCulloch, one of the outspoken doctors during the pandemic, he's back, and he was. I saw an interview with him, and he said that they should cull the sick birds only, which is what we've done since the beginning of time. You don't kill healthy flocks, okay? What you do is you allow the ones that are the sick ones, you kill the sick ones, and you leave the healthy ones to breed the next generation. Oh, here's our charging station in North Troy, Todd. See that?
Oh.
Look at that.
I didn't know you had. I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, we've got 2 EV charging stations right down there near the post office.
Nice.
In the middle of nowhere.
Well, that's probably a good place for a charging station.
In North Troy. You gotta be kidding me. I'm surprised. Sooner or later, somebody will come up with an idea like one or one of those battery charging stations where you can charge them up by using solar panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go down and charge up your batteries for free and take it home and, I don't know, run your friggin' air conditioner. Yeah, so anyways, the vaccine mutates. And if you keep killing off all the healthy ones, the vax is going to mutate even stronger. Over 2 million birds have been killed. Only 20,000 infected have been infected. The farmer worker hygiene, gargling, soap and water, stuff like that. Go old school like we used to. You wonder why the price of eggs went up. It's crazy, man. You can't do this stuff. You can't do it the old way. I mean, the new way. The old way works. And it does. It does. Oh, and they've got a new study, transsexual study or trans whatever study from the University of Texas. Reaches the opposite conclusion, and it was the conclusion, was written by a Baylor med student who is biased towards the trans community. But anyways, regardless, the study's still there, and it shows, the study shows that it's a fad, that most kids will grow out of it, and that and the Europeans have come to this. The Europeans aren't doing surgeries like they used to 10 years ago.
No?
No. They've, God, I can't remember the name of it. Damn, it's a British thing. Crap. My memory is failing. Let me put on my thinking cap.
There you go. Now you're cooking.
All I need is a beak. A beak and a pile of grain. Yeah. We've got 9,000 new jobs in the auto industry. Yep. The Dogie, the Muskie people, they're gonna, this is the way they're operating. First they find the waste, okay? Then they run down the bank accounts. Then they impound them, and then they try and cut them or get the money back through a rescission. But now they have to fight the courts, and they're going to need Congress to change the laws. Because if they don't change the laws, that means the next any other administration could come in and just, screw a balanced budget, and bang, we'd wind up printing up more money, and we'd be back to our inflationary ways, and this is the second time I've seen inflation like this in my life, and it's not a pretty sight, because you never really dig your ass out of it again. The prices never really go down afterwards. They never do. And your wages never seem to catch up. So it's like being hit in the gut, man. You get the wind knocked out of you, and you never really come back to parity. Yeah, you can see where the wind blows through that ravine right there. The poles, the telephone poles are like this. It's crazy. It's up by Bobby Starr's house. Oh, anyways, yeah, that was it. What do we got? Oh, we got more Kunstler stuff. Why be a Democrat if you can't retire with millions of dollars? Hell hath no fury like a politician exposed. Dinesh D'Souza. Yeah, let's see. Okay, this is from the James Howard Kunstler. It's called the cluster fluff. I'll put it that way. Only it's not fluff. It's the old spelling, and you can find him on the web. James Howard Kunstler. It's the Democrats' game has been revealed. The revenue stream for their national wrecking operation is suddenly cut off, and it's game over. Everyone now can see how this worked now. You funnel vast amounts of taxpayer dollars into NGOs, spin off more NGOs below them, and add extra layers of subsidiary NGOs, and all of them to pay their staffs of the Democrat Party foot soldiers for do-nothing jobs, leaving plenty of time for riots and real estate investing. A splendid racket that worked for years to support the insane antics of the woke Jacobin revolution, and you paid for it. The catch is, an organization that gets government money is hardly non-governmental. Exactly, we're going to have to come up with another word for it. Wouldn't you think there's some law against that? Thus, Exhibit A, in September of 2022, Democratic luminary John Podesta was put in charge of a $369 billion fund out of young Biden's so-called Inflationary Reduction Act, tagged for climate change action. Conceptualized further, that's $369,000 million. $369,000 million, boys and girls. It's a lot of million, dispersed among tens of thousands of NGOs and their contractors. It boggles the mind that the government could even manage to cream off such a portion of our nation's alleged aggregate productivity. Let's see. It was, in reality, money conjured out of thin air, debt, because when they print new money, they lend it into existence. And we have to pay it back. So all this money they want to give to the Ukraine, we're going to have to borrow that. We're going to borrow to give it away, and then we pay it back. Great. Yeah. And let's see. It's before long you're going to find out where it all went, and the picture is not going to be a pretty one. Into the NGO laundromat and straight out to the Democratic Party members' bank accounts. One of the greatest grifts in our history. Of course, your grandchildren are on the hook for all the debt. You think our D.C. federal district judges would serve better presiding over these matters than spending years hunting down January 6th paraders? Without that bonanza conjured money for laying trips on the rest of us, the Democratic Party has nothing. Not a single credible idea, not any plausible leadership, really no reason to exist, as we mentioned at the beginning of this show. It's been for years nothing more than a gigantic grift engine extracting the remaining wealth out of our republic. So what you're seeing acted out on the D.C. streets and the well of Congress and on the angst-filled cable news networks is a kind of ghost dance that attends the death of a great political machine. Bye-bye. And speaking of which, they're digging up the Black Matter cobblestones. You see that, Toddster?
No.
In Washington, D.C., they had this big thing. It was like, it was a stretch of road big enough to land your plane on, right?
Yeah.
And they dug up all the cobblestones and put in yellow ones that said Black Lives Matter, so you could see it from the air, because they wanted Trump to see it every time he took off and landed by helicopter during the Summer of Love in 2020, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know how or why, but they're digging them up, and they're putting the old cobblestones back. Yeah, now that they've finally figured out that Black Lives Matter was like the NGOs, is one of the biggest grifts in history. And they still don't know where all that money went to. The symbiote of that parasitical organism is the blob, which Obama called it, of war profiteers, pharmaceutical profiteers, seditionists, traitors, lunatic ideologues, and assorted criminals lodged in the D.C. bureaucracy and Congress. For instance, former CIA Director Brennan, appointed by Barack, a veritable Communist Party activist in his youth, and all the above in age. It's true, he was a communist. And after 2020, Brennan might have thought all he had to do was kick back in a comfortable retirement, make a little extra walking around money doing hits on MSNBC, and enjoying the esteem of his former colleagues as a legendary blob poobah. Likewise, Podesta, a former White House chief of staff, chair of the Hillary Clinton 2016 campaign, and other perches. Likewise, Senator Mark Warner, Russiagate promoter, as vice chairman of the Senate Intel, and likewise Adam Schiff, chief engineer of Trump impeachment #1, and Mark Milley, rumored to have enabled the J6 riot by denying National Guard reinforcements, former AG Merrick Garland, the Torquemada lawfare, and he goes on and on. Gina Haspel, who ran the CIA through the high times of the Russiagate hoaxdom, and likewise Biden, Blinken, and Sullivan in Ukraine, both who have just had their security clearances yanked by Trump. All these people had them yanked because that's what they dine out on. Information is money, and suddenly they have no more information. And they did it to Biden too. They shut down his daily briefings because chances are he's not reading it, and Hunter would be. Hunter would probably be selling information again like he did before. All these people, just a small sample of depraved officials who operated with such gross impunity against the citizens of this land, soon to collide with the wheels of justice. The Democratic Party is no longer in a position to defend them, and because of lawyer money, legal defense. And conversely, the blob actors are in no position anymore to protect their allies in the Dem Party. It's a mutual aid society suddenly turned into a suicide pact. The real action hasn't quite commenced yet, as the new officialdom warily finds its place. To address a complex agenda of reform for that matrix of appalling agency corruption, we await a flood tide of greatly disturbing revelation and concrete actionable allegation. Between all that and the cascade of truth finally emerging about COVID-19 and its dastardly vaccine program, America's elite managerial class, Democrats and the blob together, find themselves like Pharaoh's army of old, trapped by an onrushing flood of destruction. All they have left is making faces and screeching like ghouls.
Man. You got like 4 or 5 minutes left, roughly.
Okay.
Roughly. Countdown. Yes, countdown now. Only the important stuff from here on out.
Yeah. Well, I still got this 40 or 50 pages, double-sided pages that Toddster, 45, 46 pages that Toddster printed me out. And this was just the beginning of sorrows from the NGOs and stuff that the federal grants. And you can search this yourself and see all this crazy spending at datarepublican.com. And let's pick a few at random, okay? Oh, here's one for India. $37,937,452 and no cents. This 5-year cooperative agreement will allow USAID in India to support the government of India's goal of an AIDS-free generation. This activity will rapidly demonstrate and assess new models to increase accessibility, availability, and demand of high-quality, comprehensive HIV prevention, care, and treatment. What? India's not a third world country anymore. And you know, when I was a kid, not only were they a third world country, well, they were climbing out of it back then, but they were a communist country. Did you know that, Todd?
I thought they were under British.
Oh, yeah, until 1948.
Oh, okay. I thought it was later than that for some reason.
Yeah, but then they started taking money they started aligning themselves with the Soviet Union. And the same thing with Egypt. Egypt was in the Soviet sphere of influence when I was a kid.
Huh.
The Virunga Foundation. Let's see.
You got like 2 minutes now. 2.3.
Oh, here's one, a good gobbledygook one. For Kenya, the JHPGO Corporation, $253,254,281 and no cents from USAID to the Agency for International Development to Kenya. The provision of targeted technical and capacity development assistance to USAID missions, partner countries, and local organizations for sustained improvements in maternal, newborn, and child health and FPRH outcomes to advance country progress along the journey to self-reliance. How much of this went to administration? I mean, sure, you want to help poor kids, and you know, and well, that was the whole thing. And trust me, they're screaming bloody murder about them going after Medicaid. Okay, this is not Medicare for seniors. This is Medicaid. Medicaid was designed for single mothers and you know, and poor people who didn't have insurance and stuff like that. Medicaid was not designed for a bunch of tattooed junkies sleeping on a couch in their parents' basement, okay, at 40 years old. This is not what Medicaid was designed for, yet that's what has turned into. So when they say they're going to look at Medicaid, remember the big difference between Medicaid and Medicare. And Medicaid, it's going to kill us because they're giving it to, they're putting these 18, 20 million illegals on Medicaid. They get their hospitals, all their stuff is paid for right off the bat. While you and I have to scramble and scrimp and wind up with delinquent hospital bills. How much time we got, Toddster?
Like 40 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life.
So you're saying Medicare is for illegal elderlies? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
that's a bad joke.
Yeah, well, there are illegal outlaw elderly, and they should have known better. Keep playing that rock and roll, save up your money until you get old. Keep doing what you've been told. Anyways, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show. So hopefully we'll see you again next week. Inshallah, as the Hebrabs say, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque, sniff the bum of the guy in the man dress in front of you, head east, and worship the meteorite in Mecca and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar.